Be surprised. July 18, 2012. This is Justice Done Dirt Cheap. We're at the Justice Building. How are you doing today?
Good.
And what's your name?
Jenn Wambolt.
Would you like to do an interview today?
Yes.
Okay, you were in court today, is that correct?
Yes.
In Provincial Court. What did you see that was interesting? I understand you saw a poor man who was brought in court regarding some driving tickets, and he has 4 children, and he's having quite the arduous circumstances. What did you see?
Well, he has a full-time job as a roofer. He has 4 children to feed, and his license was suspended for not paying an original fine, and now he's got an even larger fine for driving on a suspended license. And if he doesn't pay that, he spends 2 days in jail.
It's amazing. And what's interesting is these are not isolated stories. There's all kinds of stories like this. Each time I'm in court and talking to people, I hear these really amazing stories where it seems to be unreasonable that these people are named defendants, for one, and number 2, they keep being dragged into court, having to spend all the time and energy answering these charges that should be dropped because they're basically frivolous, vexatious, or without merit. And in your own circumstances, have you you had that experience as well?
Yes. Sorry, what was the question? I don't.
I'm sorry. The question is, have you had the same type of experience where judges have rendered judgments that were just unreasonable or just did not seem like they were even considering the factors?
Yes. Most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, my son's biological father was declared not the father in front of my son. I mean, how much more wrong can you be? I mean, I had a DNA test that proved, you know.
And the judge still found, despite the conclusive DNA evidence, that the father was not the father.
And charged me a court fine.
Wow. How much is the court fine?
$2,000.
Wow, that seems pretty unreasonable, but it's
They took my son's father and charged me $2,000.
Wow.
And that was the end of the child support.
Yes. It's unfortunate. It makes you wonder what these judges are thinking sometimes when they're considering circumstances before them, especially when there's conclusive evidence like that. How can they find the other way?
Well, what I saw today is totally against what I was learned in university. I studied philosophy, and what we were taught was the greatest good. And again, those 4 children, that's not the greatest good. Their father going off to jail for 2 days, or losing his job as a roofer, full-time roofer. That's a seasonal job. He needs his license. He needs to get to work to feed his children. That is not the greatest good. I think that we are sorely hurting people, and it's the opposite. You know, it's like, how can we hurt this family the most? What can we do? That's our justice system.
And justice is defined by Black's Law Dictionary as a fair application of the laws, and it appears that the laws are not being applied fairly in these circumstances. I know I've had experiences myself where I don't believe the laws are being applied fairly, and would you agree that you've also had the experience where the laws are not being applied fairly?
Over and over again, yes.
I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand the philosophy of law and the basics of what the law is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about fairness and considering the circumstances and weighing out all the factors, and at the end of the day, the judge is supposed to find in the greater good regarding the party's basically fate, and it doesn't seem to be happening like that. I see more the courtrooms are being filled with people who, the police are just filling the courtrooms, and the police have this attitude of, oh well, we'll just arrest them and let the court sort it out later.
It's more than that, though. I'm sorry, but it's more of an agenda. It's like every day at 7 o'clock, the police have their meeting in the big boardroom, and it's, I suppose it's like, okay, these are the people we have on our hit list. Go see if you can't find them.
Yes.
Go see if you can't find them, and make up stuff if you have to, because these are the people we want to serve justice.
Yes, and there's also the quota that is vehemently denied by the police, but I believe that the police have a quota, that at the end of every month they make sure they find so many people for speeding, so many people for this infraction, so many people for that infraction. And I believe the same thing is for the city of Fredericton, where they make sure the police get so many bylaws infractions in that generate a certain amount of money, because we forget that that's actually a money incentive to actually pursue these things. Each time a bylaw offense is laid on someone, the City of Fredericton gains a possible $50 to $500 installment.
But they're targeting the poor. They're targeting people that don't have money. These people with the big fancy cars, they never get pulled over and charged with anything.
Yes.
For, you know,
yes,
infractions or anything. They never have to pay these horrendous fines and raise children. You know, it's a very unfair system.
You shouldn't favor the well-to-do and the who you know.
Because I never saw one person in there that had any kind of substantial funds.
Yes.
Today, and that would imply that the rich do not commit crimes, and we know that's not true.
Yes. We also know that the more money someone has, the more they can pay into the legal system, and more likely that their charges are just going to disappear.
But that's not fair either.
It's not fair at all. It's unfortunate that's the way we work. The more money you have, the more likely you're going to be found not guilty, or not be found at all. All right. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us today. And this is Justice Done Dirt Cheap, July 18, 2012 at the Justice Building.